Hi, I'm Vince Kate. These are my two sons. And back in the background is the computer that made all the money for .ai for years. With the elections next week, for political reasons, I've been attacked this week. The attack just tells a small part of the story to make me look bad. I think a full history of the events will eventually shine a more favorable light on what we did. To work toward that, let me give some history and context. People think that governments naturally get the top-level domain for their country. This is not true. Identity Digital has .io, and Indian Ocean government gets no money from it. Indian Ocean has no right to take it from Identity Digital. Someone got .uk, and the UK government gets no money from it. I was the first person in Anguilla to register a .ai domain, and John Postal, who is nicknamed the God of the Internet, gave .ai to me to run, partly because of my strong computer science background. The reason Anguilla has .ai is because sometime after it was given to me personally, I gave it to the government of Anguilla. I could have left Anguilla and kept .ai forever, and there would have been nothing they could have done. After I gave it to the government, they gave it to some company in Taiwan to run. That company got 75%, and they still went bankrupt. They stopped answering emails, phone calls, and were struck from the books in Taiwan. The government was afraid to terminate the contract still, and only after I signed a contract indemnifying them in case they were sued did they actually terminate the other contract. It was almost like I got the .ai for the government a second time. The fact that the company went under shows that in the early days .ai was not a full-grown golden goose. A baby goose is called a gosling. Goslings don't lay eggs. The first company gave 25% to the government and kept 75%. I flipped it and gave the government 75% and kept 25%. I could do this because at the time I had a steady gig running a company called publicdata.com. That company had to flee Texas when they made it illegal to put public records on the internet in Texas. So to start with, this gosling just was a side thing. It was much smaller than my main business. However, at some point, Texas changed the law, making it okay for public records to go on the internet in Texas, and public data moved back to Texas. At the same time, I was getting divorced and had to pay for 2 households and 4 kids. I spoke with my contact at government, explained my situation, and asked if they could give me a higher percentage or let me get behind in the payments a bit, given my situation. They were sympathetic, but no changes to the split were made. I got behind in the payments when they were like $6,000 per month. That is about 1,000 times smaller than what it is now. This is the difference between a gosling and a goose. I made a payment plan with the government, which they agreed to, and started catching up. But because of the 75-25 split, even if I didn't spend any of my money, it would take 3 months to catch up by 1 month. So it took a long time to catch up. We caught up about 4 years ago. The government had an account on our machine where they could log in and look at everything in real time. They could see all the past transactions, all the domains, all the money, everything that was going on. They didn't have to ask us. They could poke around and see everything. The fact, when things started going fast, we gave the government an extra 1% every month, and feel that this put them in a strong bargaining position when they were talking with the next company, because they were not in a rush to make a deal. And if we had not done this, they might have taken the first company that offered them 80%, something more than our 75. But now they're getting 90%, and I believe our actions contributed to that. The fact that the government let us keep running .ai almost their whole term implies a certain amount of confidence in us. Because we were paying a more percentage than we had to, by the end of our contract, we had paid millions of US dollars more than was required by the contract. The politicians don't mention that. They just that we were behind 10 years ago. We gave the government a golden goose, and we helped raise this government golden goose for 30 years. The other company was not any help. We brought it from nothing to 200,000 US per day. While we didn't do a perfect job, I think that we have done a great thing for Anguilla, and it's painful to be treated so badly. Thank you.